Amazon has announced it's cutting 9,000 roles on top of the 18,000 job cuts announced earlier this year, bringing the total to 27,000. Amazon is a large group of major corporations that have made significant cuts in 2023. Meta and Google and finance behemoth Goldman Sachs, the layoffs have primarily affected the tech sector, which is now hemorrhaging employees at a faster rate than any other point during the pandemic, according to the data cited by Wall Street Journal. A site tracking the layoffs since the start of the pandemic, tech companies have slashed more than 150,000 jobs in 2022 alone, compared to 80 in 20 and 15,000 in 21. Let me say that one more time. In 2022 was 150,000. In 2021 was 15,000. And at the peak of the pandemic was 80,000. Okay, so here's some of the other companies that are laying off their people. Rob, if you have this. Open Door, 560 jobs. McKinsey, 1,400 jobs. David Bridal, 9,236 jobs. I didn't even know they had that many employees. Virgin Orbit, 85% of staffers. EA, 780 employees. Amazon, 9,000. Walmart, about 200 employees. Roku, 200 staffers. Accenture's 19,000. LinkedIn, 2,200. Sirius XM, 475. Meta, 10,000. Citigroup, hundreds of jobs. Waymo, 209 jobs. GM, 500 salary jobs. Twitter, 200. ThoughtWorks, 500. Yahoo, 20% of their employees. DocuSign, 10% of their employees. GoDaddy, 8% of workers. Disney, 7,000 jobs. Affirm, 19% of its workforce. Zoom, 15% of its staff.
Return to office.
eBay, 500 jobs. Pinterest, 150 jobs. Dell, 5% of the workforce. Rivian, 6% of jobs. BDG Media, 8%. Intel, 343 jobs. Splunk, 325 jobs. FedEx, more than 10% of top managers. PayPal, 7% of total workforce, 2,000 employees. IBM, 4,000 jobs. HubSpot, 500 jobs. Dow, 2,000 global employees. SAP, up to 3,000 employees. 3M, 2,500. Spotify, 6% of its workforce, 600 employees. Google, 12,000 employees. Vox, 7% of their staff. WeWork, 300 employees. Capital One, 1,100 tech workers. Wayfair, 1,000 employees. Microsoft, 10,000 workers. BlackRock, 3% of their global workforce, or 500 employees. Crypto.com, 20% of their staff. Goldman Sachs, 6.5% of their global workforce, 3,200 employees. BNY Mellon, 1,500 jobs. I'm about to be done, folks. DirecTV, 10% of management staff. Verily, part of Alphabet, 15% of the workers. Coinbase, 950 workers. Amazon, 18,000. Vimeo, 11% of the workers. And last but not least, Salesforce, 10% of its staff. 7,000 jobs. These are all the companies that letting people go.
So Pat, quick question. What, like, Amazon's laying off all these people? I mean, people are still using Amazon like crazy. Where are these layoffs coming from?
You know who's happy right now?
Who?
Guess who's happy right now?
Who?
Shareholders, because stocks went up.
Oh,
This
wow.
is one way of making money. Tom, why don't you take the lead from here?
Okay, I'm going to make this very simple. Why are layoffs good? I'll make it in one very, very simple thing. You and your wife have had a house that you've had for 20 years. Your 2 children are now graduating college, and you're not sending checks to college, and those kids are no longer home eating. They're no longer on your car insurance. Guess what? You've got extra money each month for the first time in a long time. That is exactly, on a massive scale, what happens when companies lay this off. The market loves it because they say, if you can keep your sales even flat to where you are right now, flat, even if you stop growing a little bit during a recession, it's flat, but your costs are coming down, so you're going to have more profit. It pops the stock price. It moves the market index. Right now, if you were just putting money into cash funds with any of the reputable, organizations, I'm not going to list them, so it sounds like we're favoring one or the other, but any of the reputable brokerage firms that cater to consumers, you just put in a cash fund or in a market. If you look long term, like an S&P ETF, because over the course of time, the S&P has always beat the market on a index basis. But the market loves these layoffs, and they love what's going on. And I'll tell you how much they look. If you're going to decide what to wear when you get up in the morning, you look at the temperature, you look at the weather report, right? Rob, can you pull up the VIX and show this to America? You see here? Where's the VIX right now? 1753. The VIX is a temperature gauge that the market uses of volatility. Over 20, and it's stormy outside, and you will go and you could correlate the VIX being up almost at 35 to banking issues, SVB Bank and stuff. Right now, we've had a spike, and all the layoff announcements you see there in March, Pat, The VIX has dropped down to 1750, so solidly under 20. The market temperature says, hey, it's not too volatile out here. It's actually a good time to invest. That's what the market thinks. And if I could add one more thing, IPOs have been kind of quiet, but IPOs may be coming back. This week, SeatGeek just announced, actually this week, it was yesterday. I caught this yesterday, as well as one of my favorite writers over at one of my daily newsletters caught this at the same time, is SeatGeek just filed an S1, which is basically a letter they send the SEC, say, we're going public. And they went out at a $1 billion valuation. And so in the market is going to feel and look different than the consumer news. It's not out of sync. What's happening now is the layoffs are helping companies' stock prices, and even in the recession, and the market is very open to investment, and you're going to see IPOs this year.
But Pat, I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but when they lay off all those, it's good for the market, you're saying, but what about all the employees that are still working there? They just have to work harder, correct? Like those people, if Amazon's laying off all these people, that means somebody has to pick up that slack, right? Same job has to be done.
Well, I think we had a couple stories that were on this, like about people that were investing in themselves, 25% more training that they were availing themselves to. So why are somebody back in the office saying, I'm going to definitely spend 25% more time on training? Why? They want to be valuable, and they don't want to be the next guy on that long list that Pat just read.
Gotcha.
I think this the classic case of supply and demand over COVID. Who had all the leverage? A lot of people would say that the employees had the leverage, right? I'm not coming into the office. I'm working via Zoom. I'm working from anywhere. Now at this point, employers have the leverage. I know you're in favor of typically cutting the bottom 10% of a workforce anyway. Things changed so dramatically during COVID. So let me just kind of give you a better metaphor. 2 years ago, we all remember that it was hot girl summer.
Yeah.
Hey, it's hot girl summer. All right, girl, do your thing. Yeah. Last year, our boy Chet Hanks was on and was white boy summer.
Yeah.
Okay, this summer, it is tighten the F up, don't get fired summer.
Remember your man on the street?
Because layoffs are coming. Tighten up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just interrupted you, Adam. I'm sorry about that. Remember your man on the street interview with the girl that had come down for spring break with her stimulus check?
Oh, yeah. I said, did you get a stimulus check? This is in South Beach. She said, how much did you get? $1,400. Hell no, I got $5,600. I go, oh shit. She's like, I got dependents. I go, how much did you spend on this trip to South Beach? $5,600. I said, unbelievable.
Let me say this though, about the question you asked and the point Tom was making.
Yeah.
People working in the office spend 25% more time on career development. This is a Bloomberg story.
Gotcha.
According to data from WFH Research, which is working from home, people working in the office spend 25% more time on career development activities than those working remotely, including mentoring, formal training, and professional development. You can't do that at the house.
Yeah.
The figures support the argument for hybrid work schedules as younger workers and particular benefits from an in-person mentorship on on-the-job training. Research has shown that working in the same building has an outsized effect on workers' training, and that face-to-face interactions with managers can be advantageous for career development. Employees who have more face-to-face interactions with their managers are promoted to a higher rate, and this could explain a third of the gender gap in promotions at the large financial firm studies. Now, the last sentence there was a little bit of a politically correct statement they added in there, but that should kind of tell you that. If you're in there, you're being challenged, you're being pushed, you're being seen, you're being held accountable, you're being driven, you're being asked, hey, how come you're not doing this? Have you thought about things? You may want to read this. Did you see this article? You're hearing other people having conversations with each other. That's helping you grow. You're sitting home. Who are you listening to? Yeah. You're listening to your, little dog right there barking at you. Hey, can you walk me for 5 minutes and come back? All these other distractions. So in a season like this, as crazy the economy is, this is the season to recreate yourself. The people at the top recreate themselves very regularly. And so the speed between three different people, let me kind of explain this part so this will make sense to you. This has been my experience having studied, coming up as a competitor, as a regular guy that was a 21-year-old Army guy. I'm like, who am I? I watched all my peers, and I asked myself, who's changing most often? So you got three people. You meet Johnny a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, he's the same person. All right, okay, no problem. Guess what? Life's going to be the same. If it's hard, it's going to be harder because you're getting older, so your market value is also going lower, right? Okay, the middle one is maybe recreates themselves once a year, okay? or once every other year. Typically, they recreate themselves because of a crisis. They're forced to recreate themselves. They're forced to change. They got fired, heartbreak, something happened, so they're forced, I better change or else this. But these guys typically, after they recreate themselves and they see immediate results, they go back to their shitty habits and then boom, they're forced again. So every 2 to 5 years, they're forced to recreate themselves. The third group, dude, every 3 to 6 months, you don't see them, you don't recognize them. They're talking about a whole different thing. Their mind's in a whole different thing. They're developing on this project, that project, this project. So you're like, man, I can't catch up to this guy anymore. It's because they recreate themselves more often. The best compliment you can get today from somebody you haven't seen for the longest time is, man, I don't recognize you. What happened to you? You've changed. If everybody recognizes you all the time and you're the same, you ain't recreating yourself. This is a season where many will be forced to recreate. But those who choose to recreate and keep recreating yearly, if not even faster than that, future looks very bright for you. Those who sit around blaming, upset at the economy, frustrated around the things that they have zero control over, I just hate to say it to you, 2023 is going to be hard, 2024 is going to be harder, 2025 is going to be harder and harder, and life's going to get harder and harder and harder and harder and harder if you don't recreate yourself. Just in the last 30 days, how many grandmothers have died in the building here?
In the past 30 days.
3.
What?
In this building here. How many people do we have here? We don't have thousands. We have 65, 64, whatever the number is,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So as you age, first goes grandma, grandpa, then goes aunt, uncle, then goes parents, then goes peers, then goes siblings, then goes you. And you age, you're more surgeries. My dad's at the hospital again today. You have more things you got to get checked out. You got to go do a lot of different things. Life gets harder as you age. The worst thing you can do is knowing those seasons are coming is by adding even more hard things to it, by not improving and being proactive. This is the worst season to be reactive only. The people that are suffering consequences today are those that have stayed in reactive mode for the last 10, 20 years. All you've been doing is reacting to the economy, reacting to a war, reacting to inflation, reacting to gas prices, reacting to the economy, reacting to 129, reacting to Trump, reacting to Biden. And a few people around are sitting there saying, man, when are you going to stop just reacting and being proactive? When are you going to stop being freaking just reacting? And you're wondering why life is getting harder. Dude, my dad, craziest thing, Sunday we're talking. And he's having a conversation. I don't know who he's talking to. I think he's talking to, there was 2 people there he's talking to. And
At your house.
my house. He says, I was 21 years old when I got out of the army. He says, okay, shiluch lush, azach, ikebruchshech, atanenuch, azach, put your shoes on, we're going somewhere. Where are we going? I'll tell you, let's go. So we go to the forest lawn. I said, why are we at the forest lawn? He says, we're buying these 6 plots. I said, Dad, what are you talking about? You're 60 years old. He says, we're buying these 6 plots. And he bought it for like $1,600 a plot at Forest Lawn. By the way, they're each $15,000.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that's what Michael Jackson's buried up there.
So he buys them. He says, why? He says, we're going to be ready. When the day comes, you don't need to buy my plot. I bought my plot already for you, and you can be right next to me. And da-da-da-da. See, the man is all about anticipation, proactive preparation. These boring principles makes people's lives around you better. I love traveling with Tom. You know why? Say shit hits the fan on a flight that we're going. So one time it happened with Hawaii. Tom has already got 7 plans. He already knows what Delta's got, what this guy's got, what that. You have no idea how safe I feel traveling with this guy, okay? Because Tom is the epitome of being proactive and prepared, right? Mm-hmm. Being around people that are reactive, stress level goes up, anxiety goes up, you're so worried, you have no idea what's going to happen. Dude, people that give you peace around you, they're prepared, proactive people. Mm-hmm. So today, listen, if you're listening to this and you're kind of stressing out because you're more on the reactive side, well then change. Let's roll. No more reactive. By the way, this doesn't mean proactive people are not reactive. Proactive people are automatically reactive, but reactive people are not automatically proactive. Be proactive and reactive instead of just reactive, and life's going to be fine for you for many, many years to come. So the reactive folks are about to pay a price. Hopefully they'll change. The proactive people, trust me, are going to be fine.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.